So data on the movement of police vehicles transporting one of the accused, or a police vehicle used to transport one of the accused in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, has taken centre stage at the High Court in Pretoria today. 5 men are still on trial for allegedly killing the Bafana captain in 2014 in what the state says was a home invasion gone wrong. Newzroom Afrika reporter Mnisi is tracking the story live for us here in studio tonight. Linda, let's talk about the significance of this vehicle tracking data and the role it's meant to play in understanding what's gone on here.
You'll remember, Tembegile, that the defense put forward the version of accused number 2, that's Bongani Ntanzi, around what happened on the 19th of June 2020. This is the day that he made his first confession statement, and what they told the court was that he was assaulted. In fact, the cars that were driving to Morocco police station, where he was meant to be making that confession statement, took a detour where he was taken to several locations and assaulted. He was beaten, he was tubed, and forced essentially to sign that confession statement. And some of the locations that they listed was Alberton, Germiston, Baragwanath Hospital, and an open space in Orlando, where the lead investigator is also said to have joined there, forcing him to sign. This is where he was tubed, covered with a plastic bag, forced to sign that confession statement. Now, that evidence is currently being rebutted by the state, who's using that tracker report, which indicates how that vehicle moved on that particular day. If you listen to what Bongani Ntanzi said to the court, his evidence is around the locations that are situated around the east. And what we're hearing today, Tembegile, is that this vehicle moved along the south and at no point made any stop before reaching the Morocco police station, obviously contrary to what Bongani Ntanzi alleges. It's also important because his team was, of course, objecting to this evidence being led in re-examination, saying that it is new evidence that was not led during evidence in chief and therefore should not be led or introduced in this manner. They argued earlier in the day that this evidence ought to have been led through an expert witness, but the court ruling that it is admissible and should be led at this point. So when this particular vehicle got to Morocco police station, that's the first time that it actually, idles because it stopped for a couple of hours. Let's take a listen to what happened when it got to that location.
Date there 2026-19-0646, Kanako 0646.28 seconds, Kilagatima Motoro.
On the date of the 19th of June 2020 at 6:46.28 seconds, I then switched off the ignition.
And the location?
Makhalima Street, Morocco police station.
The location was in Makhalima Street in Morocco police station in Soweto.
Then the next activity under that?
Napile kameraga mo we iringi.
26-19-08-12 startup.
On the same date of the 19th of June 2020 at 06:12:06, that's when 08, my apologies, my lord. At 08:12, that's when the vehicle was ignited, it started up.
All right, it's also important to point out, Tembegile, that this part of evidence, or this piece of evidence, will go up until a certain date. You'll remember that the defense had argued earlier that Bongani Ntanzi was assaulted from, the 16th of June right up until the 24th. So we're looking at those records that indicate exactly how the car moved on those particular days. So it's re-examination, which means that the state is clarifying, not necessarily leading evidence in chief. It's clarifying on points that were earlier picked up during cross-examination. This is around, of course, the version of Bongani Ntanzi. So we'll continue hearing that evidence even tomorrow.
And briefly, Linda, when are we going to get to the broader substance of the issue? Because at the moment we're still dealing with the issue of these confession statements. I'd imagine there's a great deal of impatience, perhaps even among members of the Meyiwa family, about getting to the end of this trial, because even when Judge Mokgwatleng was brought in, the aim ultimately was to ensure that this case wraps up.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of impatience, and particularly with the proceedings, or especially the trial within a trial taking so long, some people obviously will even get lost in what exactly is happening. But a trial within a trial, you'll remember, is also a mini trial, in the sense that the defense will also have to open its case and lead its own evidence before arguments and then ultimately closing. This is important because then it's a piece of the puzzle in the main trial, because if the court decides at the end of the trial within a trial that these confession statements are admissible, it then plays a part in the main trial, in that there were confessions, and it gives the court more information around what could have possibly happened. So we're still waiting for a number of witnesses from the state. At this point, we already know that another witness from the cold case unit, Sergeant Mohola, who's also an investigator in this particular case, will testify. But also there's great anticipation for the lead investigator, that's Brigadier Bongani Ntanzi, who's also expected to testify in this matter. So until the state decides that they've done all they can to try and prove that these confessions were obtained legally, we'll continue hearing evidence. But of course, after that, it's the defense.
Linda Mnisi, thank you very much for that, Linda, tracking the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial.